Hi, happy Friday. We made it. What a week. The weather's getting prettier out here for us, and it's just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I want to talk a little bit about privilege. What do you do with your privilege? And I started thinking about all the ways that I've had privilege over my lifetime and how I helped people with it and how I didn't help people with it. Let me give you an example. Being the only girl of my family, I have two older brothers. So I am not only the only girl, but I'm the baby girl. So I'm the baby of the family. And we all know that being the baby of the family comes with privileges. One being that your parents are sometimes tired at the end when you come around and they're just like allowing some things that they were so high strung about when they were raising children to kind of let slide. And, there's things that they realize that maybe that wasn't such a good idea, or we don't care at this point because nothing could be worse than what happened to the other two. But I had the privilege of being the baby girl. And even now, my dad will say, "Who's the best little baby in the world?" And I have to say, I did not use that privilege all the time for the betterment of my brothers. I definitely used it for my personal gain in certain areas. I wasn't a bad teenager or a horrible young adult, but I do remember my brothers kind of being a little jealous of some of the things that I was able to get when I was able to drive and really not having a curfew. But a lot of it too, I did know and I was aware of that privilege and I didn't want to abuse it with my parents. So I made sure that I followed the rules and did what I was supposed to do so I can continue to garner and gain the things that came with being the baby girl of the family. And I still reap those benefits today. I have the privilege of inheriting my mother's purses sometimes, or little things that come around, and I'm aware of it. Another time that I recognized that I had privilege was when I was in college. I was getting my master's, and we had a lot of friends that were exercise and sports medicine because of me running track. And so with that came their little side jobs that they would have, which was running the club. And so me and my friends would use our privilege of knowing those people to get to the front of the line so we could get our dance on the weekends. And it was a good privilege, right? Just to be able to walk past people. Hey, oh yeah, we don't have to wait in line. Let us in. We knew, we knew to be able to get into the club and to hang out and not have to pay to get in. That was a privilege. Did we abuse it? Most definitely, we did. I like to dance, so it was like, who's working what door and what club and where do we need to go? Did I help other people get in? In a way, yeah, I helped my friends that I liked, but did I kind of scoff at everybody else as I walked past to get in to let them know that I was up and coming? Yeah, was not using my privilege to the best of my ability. So what is privilege? When we look at the definition, and I'm going to read it directly from my Google, privilege is having special rights, advantages, or immunities. It's an adjective. And one of the examples that they give is having the rare opportunity to do something that brings particular pleasure. Or, they talk about how in the 19th century, only a privileged few had the right to vote. Social privilege comes up, and it's a theory of special advantage or entitlement used to one's own benefit or to the detriment of others. These groups can be advantaged based on social class, age, height, nationality, disability, ethnic or racial category, gender identity, neurology, sexual orientation, and religion. We all have privilege in some way, shape, or form. Whether we recognize that that's what it is a different topic. The third and final way that I have privilege, and I use it most every day, is in my education privilege. I recognized early on that there are many people that do not have the access to the places that I go in the education world. They do not have the access to the superintendents, to the board, and to the teachers and the principals, down to the custodians. I recognize that privilege. I have educational privilege. And over the years, I can say that I'm proud that I have looked back and used my privilege for the benefit of everyone, not just my community. Even though there are times where that focus comes into play, I've used my privilege to start Rise Virtual Academy so that Black students can learn their Black history. And I am not apologizing for that usage, but I also use my privilege so that all students can learn. I make sure that all students have their voices heard. When I see something that's not going quite right, I do speak up. And so when I look at my privilege, I'm proud to know that I have it, and I always want to make sure that I'm directing it in a way that can benefit others. I don't have privilege in other areas. There are times when I walk into a store and I'm followed. In Utah, sometimes I don't have the religious privileges that can be afforded to other people. And I think when you have a privilege that can gain access for other people, it's important that you use it for all. When you have a privilege and you don't use it to its fullest capability, you're really robbing yourself and others of the opportunity to benefit from what that privilege is. And as I tell people, it's okay to have privilege. I think when I was talking to a few people, when we were talking about what it is, they really only associated it with money. Like, I don't have enough money to do this, this, and that. And I'm like, well, no, you don't. But you're not going to be turned down for a mortgage loan more often than I would be. Or, you wouldn't be questioned when you're in the store more often than when my children would be in the store. So you don't have to have money to have privilege, but if you have access, if you have influence in any kind of way, and you're not using it for all students, and you're only leveraging it for your societal gain, that's when you kind of have to question, is there a better way? And with it coming from that Latin word, it does mean a law for one person, a benefit enjoyed by an individual or a group with what is available to others. So make sure that you use your privilegium, as they say. I don't even know if I'm saying it correct in Latin, but use it to benefit others and not just yourself all of the time. And those are some Friday facts. Have a wonderful weekend.